You mentioned something about references, and you also mentioned something about inspiration. So let's talk about inspiration. How do you get your inspirations? Because I think, were you into photography or drawing or something?
Yeah, photography. I really like photography. I don't have like favorite photographers. Oddly enough, I like like if I see something cool, then I will like maybe save it somewhere or like it and have some sort of collection. But I also like movies that have a cool, like, Blade Runner, of course, like stuff like that. Like these things are very inspiring. Um, yeah, I think for me that's the most inspiring thing for lighting is like photography and look at movies like and games. Sometimes if you see Red Dead Redemption 2, you're riding through the sunset on your horse and like, wow, the volumetrics are so cool. That can also be inspiring to do something like that, or try to do something like that. And,
I mean, the fog in Valheim. Have you played Valheim yet?
no, sadly not.
It's a very overall the graphic is not that good because they purposely made it that kind of graphic, but their lighting and the fog is really good actually. It's really cool. Some nice screenshots. And also, anyone who asked the question, the minute I clicked refresh, I lost all the questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Again.
Again, so references. How do you approach references now? Because you said that's something you would tell yourself to improve upon. Because I'm also still, I mean, a lot of the work people like, I didn't actually look up any references. It was more like a creative workflow. The disadvantage is it takes a long time to do it compared to if you do have references. The stuff I do have references, like I have an old piece I haven't deleted yet, which is with the deers, and there's like deer on a lake. Um, that took me 1 hour to do because I was looking at the painting and I was kind of using that as my source. So, how do you approach references and what's your workflow for that?
um like I think when we have a scene and we're looking for some sort of like mood, we tend to look for references that have this sort of mood in them, even if it's like completely unrelated in in terms of like context of what's going on. So that's something. And then there's what I would say is technical reference. Like if you have a light source, how does the light source behave in real life? Because sometimes in movies you don't really see it because like depth of field and all that stuff. So that's something I like to look at, is understand how stuff works. Because once you understand it, you can easily replicate it. Usually, if you have the tools to do it. Um, and yeah, just have a collection, a mood board or something. We also have concept artists, so that helps for mood as well. And yeah, and then whenever what I also do is like I have some base reference that I use, I go from there, and then whenever I need something else, I'll just look for it on the go, and just go go with the flow basically.
So, some people they will like find references for like the color palette, and then they will find references for the type of lighting, and then they will also find like a different reference for whatever other reason. And some people I've met, and also some of my mentors, they will go into Photoshop and then they will color paint over. They do color change the color from a reference because they see something, but it's not the right color, so they're good at Photoshop, so they'll change all of it, and then it looks exactly like the mood they want
Yeah,
with the lighting. Like, do you go to that extent, or do you just keep it simple?
yeah. I sometimes took screenshots into Photoshop and then played with the colors a little bit to see like quickly see what I could get. Technical reference, like you said, for the light sources, I think is important because there's so many light sources. It's hard to know how they behave. Sometimes you'd be surprised. Sometimes even how the light actually is affected by type of neon that you're using. So that's cool to have. And then yeah, color palette is very linked to mood. So if we need something sad or something like maybe something really grim detective kind of, Seven is a great movie for this. So we'll take a screenshot from that, look at it, and try to analyze the lighting, what makes the mood, what how does it work, and then apply it to our scenes. Yeah, and whenever something is needed, look for more. The
Have
thing is also like,
you no,
yeah,
keep going.
the thing is also like we work together with a lot of people, so the environment team, they have their own ideas. So sometimes your reference might not work with their idea of what they want to do there. So it's very important to keep talking and just brainstorm stuff. So sometimes you use their reference actually.
That's good.